Lovers Quarrel. It's a long, sustained quarrel.
What's going on, world?
Hey, everybody.
It's your guy, TJ, Mr. New Cool.
And it's your girl, Dani, your solemnly sullen squid.
Okay. A solemnly what?
Sullen.
What does that mean?
Sullen means like a little sad.
Okay, what got you sad, Dani?
Are we jumping right into our elevator? Because I was going to talk about it then.
Oh, that's your elevator?
Uh-huh.
Well, if that's the case, let's do a proper introduction. If this is your first time listening to Lovers Quarrel, welcome. It's your second time. Welcome back. If this is your third or more time, you are family. You are a lover, as I like to call you. Dani calls you family or whatever. But listen, you're a lover to me. This is yet another episode of Lovers Quarrel with Dani and TJ, and welcome.
Hey. How are you, my good sir?
I'm good, had a very busy weekend, and
yes, you did.
My family came down and visited me, and Aniya left us, and this is the first time in like months that it's just been us three. So it's just gonna be some getting used to, but how are you doing?
I'm good. It's like same reasons as part of my elevator half of my elevator talk for today, but I'm good. Work is definitely busy as hell. And that was TJ's phone for the record. And I am, just trying to like really stay on top of things at work. I set my alarm for like super early, so I'm praying I can get up and get some stuff knocked out before people start emailing and I have to start joining conference calls, because that is the most among other things, one of the most annoying things about teleworking is that you really can't get a whole lot done because you're always on somebody else's meeting. So it's like hard to like get caught up when you're always in a meeting about what else you need to do. So I'm sure some of y'all out here can identify with it. And it is definitely a first world problem. I'm not complaining about not having a job. So, I appreciate the headache that it is, but it's still a headache nonetheless. But I'm good other than that. Do you want to jump into our elevator?
We can.
Okay.
I want to go up, so you want to go down, so you can start it off.
Yes, I'm going down and up. So
you're going down and up?
Yes.
All right, well, you can start down and then go up.
Cool. Going down. So, I said I was a little sullen, a little sad because, like TJ touched on, my baby cousin left us this weekend. She finally went back to New York, and between her and my other baby cousin, even though they're far from babies, we're down here. They were down here like basically like almost 2 months or something like that, like between like a month to 2 months between the two of them. And, between their parents and basically like we've had this little like extended bubble of people that have joined us, and stayed with us for an extended period of time for safety reasons and to just support us. And like TJ said, everybody, packed up and headed back to their respective homes today. And I'm a little sad because it has been honestly like one of the best, times, especially like everybody can't be around their extended family for long periods of time. And this was nothing short of like a pleasure to have them around. And like even when my in-laws come in and spending time with us, during part of the time too, it's all been really great and fun and like helpful. And so I'm just a little sad to see everybody going, even though it's just me and TJ and Tatum in the house right now, and that's cool too. But Lord knows that we loved and appreciated the company and the help, and we miss them already. But
those footsteps you hear is Tatum. So we had to let her know that we were recording, and she ran back out. But our new norm.
Exactly. But that was why I'm a little down, but I'm going to go back up. And I just want to touch on how my birthday that just passed, and my birthday was on the 16th, was high-key one of the best birthdays I've ever had. We were able to celebrate with some, close family and close friends, remaining safe, of course, mask and hand sanitizer and all that jazz. But really, like, it was honestly everything I could have wanted. You know, I don't need much to make me happy. And the best part, the best and the sweetest part was definitely courtesy of TJ. And that had to do with my birthday cake. So one thing that, you know, obviously you guys are, if you've ever listened to an episode or a few episodes, you know about the story about my dad. And my dad was actually a very good baker. Like, that was his bag. And he used to, you know, his little side passion, hustle. And he would bake a few, like, signature cakes. So cheesecake, rum cake, and then also pineapple upside down cake, which was my favorite. And when he passed and we were cleaning out everything, we found recipes for all his other cakes except for pineapple upside down cake. And essentially, you know, my mom said that she thinks that my dad just kind of knew that one, how to make that one for the longest, so he never wrote it down. And that's why there was no way to, you know, find it. So I had basically made the decision, you know, not made the decision, but I kind of understood that this was not going to be a cake that I was going to be able to partake in anymore. The last one my dad made me was for my 30th birthday. And that was the last birthday that he was here with us. So TJ took it upon himself to inquire with my family on my dad's side and my sister, and to try and locate or, you know, piece together the recipe. And he, long story short, he recreated my dad's pineapple upside down cake for me for my birthday this year. And a few tears were shed. And I was so very, you know, moved and impressed. And, you know, it was just the sweetest, like, kindest, nicest gesture that I've had from him in a, you know, not in a very long time, but, like, you know, that was, like, for my birthday. And it was, like, it meant more to me than, you know, anything else he could have gotten me. And for the record, while the cake did not taste exactly like my dad's, it was a damn good pineapple upside down cake. It was really, really close. I think it had more to do with the pan that he had to use, because we missed out on those corners. But TJ put his foot in that thing. And so now, y'all, if you are a fan of pineapple upside down cake, TJ can make that shit from scratch. And it was awesome. And I'm very, very grateful. So those are my two elevators. I went down and I went up. And with that, I yield to my husband.
I'm going to go up.
All right.
But I need you to do it because social distance, I'm not getting in your elevator. I don't know.
One party at a time. Okay.
Exactly.
Going up.
So, I feel like the last few times that we recorded, I was on a down end, and I decided that I'm not going to be a negative Nancy. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go up. Multiples. I have multiple ups. So one up that I've had recently is on IG. Now, I know you know I say social media is the devil.
All the time.
But it has some wins. So there's a social media, I don't want to call him a comedian, but public figure, and Ray. And he has been high-key, low-key, my favorite thing to watch. Just the way that he tells the stories, and, you know, the way he kind of gives you that throwback of what's been going on, and not what's been going on, but like things we used to do. So like he's talked about like different porn stars. He's talked about the Prada sneakers. He talked about the Boost mobiles, the sidekicks. He talked about just different stuff that when you were growing up, you remember. And, you know, I reached out to him to just tell him that, you know, me and Dani are fans, and that we appreciate what he does. And, you know, I think it's super dope just to kind of have that nostalgia feel. And, you know, it's a feel-good moment during a time that's not a feel-good time. So I'm going to add his IG on here, follow him. Like I said, he's funny as hell to me, and he's been a bright spot during his dark time. Another thing is LeBron James Foundation has created housing for disadvantaged families.
Dope. To
battle homelessness, and I just thought that was just awesome. You know, LeBron is becoming one of my favorites. I mean, Kobe's still the GOAT to me, but LeBron is kind of like, for me, how like Drake and Jay-Z are my 1A, 1B. LeBron and Kobe are my 1A, 1B. But the things that LeBron does and do, and, you know, he hasn't let me down. So I just think it's super dope of what he's doing for his city. And it's just super inspiring, right? And it makes me want to do more, because it's just like, you know, we could all be doing more. We can all be more mindful. We can all be more caring. We can all give back different ways. And, you know, he's really using his platform to really make changes for people, you know, for his people, you know. The units are intended to give needy families immediate shelter in cases of homelessness, domestic violence, and other issues. It also it will also serve meals to the families. Among its several amenities, it also has a study space, a physical activity area, and a community garden in which families will learn to grow and harvest their own fruits and vegetables.
Wow.
The things that he's doing for the community in Cleveland is amazing. Sorry, Akron. Mm-hmm. Like, again, we've never seen an athlete do the things that LeBron is doing. And I think that all our athletes, all our people of power need to kind of look out for the people who are forgotten, the people who aren't thought of, you know. So definitely check that out. And, you know, I just think it's amazing at the things that LeBron is doing, the way that he speaks about the social injustices, the way that he's spoken up about, you know, women's pay, everything. I just think he's a phenomenal human being, and it's bigger than basketball. So
definitely, he's been my favorite. You know, he's my best friend in my mind. I'm just saying, I know how to call him. That's all. But
sound like a real bird right there.
I know that was on purpose, though. So yeah, no, I think that's dope. It's so, and it's such an amazing use of his resources, his finances, his platform, and giving back to his own community. And we, you know, everybody isn't LeBron, everybody as far as character and access and resources, but the fact of the matter is that there are plenty of people out here who really could be doing the same damn thing or could be doing more and giving back and aren't. So I feel like, you know, people really need to take a page from his book in order to understand that, like, this doesn't work if we all don't give back and we all don't support each other in some way or another.
No, definitely. I definitely agree with that. And again, the average person may not be able to do what LeBron can do, but that doesn't mean that several average people can get together and make change.
And even, you know, everybody doesn't have to do it to the extent that he does it. It's just like, if you can make and enact change in your own small way, every little bit helps.
No, definitely. So back home in New York, there's a group of promoters who came together and they formed their own super team. So they call themselves the Round Table Experience. Mm-hmm. And back in June, they did, for Juneteenth, they did a charity bike ride, and they raised money and they donated $1,300 to the National Bail Fund Network. But just something as simple as that, right? These promoters who, they're promoting parties, but they also use their platform to be able to do something dope, such as a Juneteenth bike ride during COVID. I know people may be like, what? But they did that. They raised money, and they've been raising money and donating. So it sparks me wanting to do more, mm-hmm. and finding ways that we can do more. And, you know, maybe we can partner up with other people to just do more. But it's good to give back and to help those who need it.
Absolutely.
So,
well, I think that's a great way to continue to look at things positively, and how we can kind of make, you know, lemonade out of the bullshit lemons life is throwing our way, and has been throwing our way. So good. That's exciting. Now, are we getting off the elevator? Let me ask you.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. And with that said, it is now time for our relationship tip of the week.
Why are you talking like that?
Because I felt funny. I don't know. I don't know. But obviously you're not a fan, so I'll talk normal. The relationship tip of the week I'll go first. And my tip is to, in whatever way, shape, or form that you can, and of course safely, is to escape the everyday when you have a moment. So I say that to say because recently, this past weekend, there was an opportunity for TJ and I to have, well, for me to have some like true me time and be able to kind of hang out by myself, and then hang out with TJ uninterrupted, and outside of our house. So at first I was a little hesitant because I'm just like, obviously we're living in obviously very uncertain times, but I thought about it some more, and TJ, presented a very strong, solid case. And so I went ahead and did that. And I was able to really kind of just like, even if it was for like a night, it was, even though it was just for a night, even though it was, kind of work related. So it wasn't everything that, we weren't like uninterrupted time together, but TJ and I really I got an opportunity to kind of be by myself and unwind and decompress. And then once TJ, finished up what he had to do for work, he and I were able just to hang out, me and him, with no one, no family, no Tatum. And, those moments are few and far between, especially now because of the current climate. So I'm glad that we were able to take a beat and just kind of escape the everyday. And I encourage you all to do that, because even the best scenarios and the best case situations, you still kind of either get tired of it, or sometimes it gets a little monotonous, or it becomes, sometimes you don't realize that you did need a little bit of alone time, either with your significant other or by yourself. And when you can and where you can, sometimes just to mix it up or just to kind of reconnect with yourself, I say escape the everyday every once in a while. But that's it. That's all I got.
So for my tip, I'm going to say, especially with Corona, if Corona showed us anything, it showed us that we should celebrate everything. Take the pictures, cherish the moments, and, because we don't get these things back, right? So like when you do a dope event, or you like Dani said, we, for work, we had to stay in a hotel in Baltimore City, right? And Dani wasn't too sure about it, but we were able to, with convincing her, she came, and I feel like we had a great time of just Dani and TJ time. And that was like the first time that we've just had just us. But I'm also just thinking like, Dani said to me recently, like, we don't have a lot of pictures together. And, for me, it's just like, I don't have to take a picture because I'm living it, but this has showed us that, take the pictures, do the extra stuff. And even with that, right, my mother came and I was kissing Tatum goodbye because I was about to go on my work trip. And my mother was like, she wanted a picture. And at first I'm like, I don't feel like doing this, but I wanted to oblige my mother. And then, the picture came out fire, and it's like my screensaver. And, I thank my mother for that, but, cherish the moments, take the pictures, and celebrate it, When this episode dropped, me and Dani would have been officially dating for 16 years. And, we're going to celebrate it the best way that we can with a COVID world. But, we're definitely going to celebrate it. And, 16 years is a long time. I've known her longer. I've known her half my life, pretty much. And, all my formative years and all of my productive years have been with Dani by my side. And, you just have to cherish those moments and relive those moments and enjoy those moments. So, yeah, if anything COVID has taught me is that cherish those moments, embrace those moments, and don't be too cool to take a picture or too cool to do stuff. Like, because you never know when we're going to have another pandemic or another time where, so.
I totally agree. So I think I think we should call it a draw as far as relationship tips this week, because they were both dope. But y'all, I think to speak to both me and TJ's points is like we are in a situation now where you kind of on one end should sweat the small stuff, or I should say make it, you should cherish the small things but then not sweat the small stuff. So keep that in mind when you're engaging and interacting with the people that you love the most, that we're all just trying to do what we can and where we can and how we can. And TJ and I are very blessed and fortunate to have the resources and the finances and the time and the space and the energy to do certain things. And we know that that's not the reality for everyone. So to whatever degree that you can, take the picture, quote unquote, or escape the everyday, I think you should do it. And we think you should do it. But we're going to go ahead and transition into our, oh wait, isn't it time for my word of the week?
Your word of the week?
Like, you give me the word of the week and then I spell it correctly.
I mean, technically that's how it's supposed to go, but
yeah.
When is it your word of the week, though?
I mean, it's your word of the week, but then I, elevate it and make it a better segment because I spell the word.
I guess you can have that if I don't think it's your word of the week, but let's see.
Do you think you got something to stump me? You over there grinning?
No, I'm grinning about something different, but
oh, okay.
Let's see what
I'm glad to see your teeth.
Let's see what Rebecca says.
Extenuating.
Okay.
No, that's too easy.
I mean, I know.
Yeah.
You don't want to do we can do extenuating. I mean, are you reneging?
Hackneyed.
Let's do that one. Hackneyed is a word for language that doesn't pack a punch since it's overused and trite. Roses are red, violets are enough already. That's hackneyed stuff.
Can you have him say it again?
Come on, Roger.
Hackneyed.
Hackneyed.
One more time.
Hackneyed.
Hackneyed. You want me to spell it for you?
No, but I need you to stop pronouncing it because I feel like when you pronounce it, it throws me off.
Hackneyed.
Even though you switched it up from extenuating, but hackneyed. Hackneyed or hackneyed? One more time.
Hold on, sorry. Come on, Roger.
He has an accent. That's like, okay.
Roger doesn't want to say it no more.
Hackneyed.
There it goes.
Okay.
One more time.
8.
Hackneyed.
There you go. You do it one more time?
No.
I just want to make sure.
I'm just.
All right.
Okay. HACKN. Hackneyed. HACKNIED.
Wrong. Let's get it.
How is it pronounced? I mean, how's it spelled?
HACKNEYED.
NEYED. That's what I was trying to figure out, but the pronunciation.
Well,
he had an accent, and you aren't.
I said hackneyed.
But your pronunciations aren't like.
Well, you lost.
I mean, that's fine.
And now I'm smiling even more.
Your pronunciations are also
you.
like, you didn't stump me,
Stumped.
but you don't.
Stumped.
Listen, that's not your area of strength, so therefore I'm left, struggling. But it's fine.
Excuses are tools for the weak and incompetent.
I'm not weak or incompetent.
Use little monuments out of nothingness.
You are.
Those who specialize in them.
I married a monument of nothingness.
Anyway, whatever. You're just mad because you lost.
Well, you're just mad. First of all, I shouldn't have said nothing about extenuating because then you just always want to stump me.
I do.
You went with extenuating because that was a big word to you.
And I didn't go with it because it was a big word. Honestly, I was unprepared, and I was just like looking for a word that we can utilize. And then when you made it seem like it was something super simple, then I was like, oh, so whatever. Mm-hmm. But I can, lead the charge now for the Black History facts since I stumped you, and you're probably like
Stumped.
Discombobulated and
Discombobulated.
Yeah,
Spell it.
No, I'm not. It's not about me spelling it. It's about you spelling it.
Okay.
Golly. So my Black History fact is going to be on July 27th in 1962. My fraternity brother Martin Luther King Jr. Was arrested and jailed for holding a prayer vigil in Albany. Albany, sorry. And this, with him being arrested, it also led to him agreeing to halt demonstrations, but it also led to him meeting with President Kennedy at the White House.
Okay.
So,
shout out to the Reverend Doctor. And for my Black History fact for this week's episode, on July 27th, but the year later, 1963, African American inventor, businessman, and community leader Garrett Morgan passed away. Many of us know him as the man who invented the 3-position traffic signal and the smoke hood, which is the first modern day gas mask. So he passed at the age of, I think, 86 on July 27th, 1963.
He also created hair stuff.
Oh, hair care products. I'm looking at that now.
Yes. He created hair care products.
Oh, he said, it was like he discovered that the liquid could also straighten hair. Mm-hmm. So he contributed to, I guess, like the advent of like relaxers and things like that.
I mean, listen, Black people are amazing. Always
what
have
can't
been.
we do?
Yeah, you know. So,
well, with that said, we are going to go ahead and take a quick little break, and then we're going to come back and chop it up with y'all some more.
Hey friend, it's time for you to ditch those workout gloves and get the grip and wrist support you deserve. What do you suggest? You need to get the Gaines Load and Lock grips by Gaines Sports Gear. They are more durable than gloves, have a non-slip grip pad that provides grip support and added wrist support unlike your traditional workout gloves, and will protect your hands from calluses. Do they come in different colors? Not only do they come in different colors, but they are available for men and women. Do yourself a favor, go to GainesSportsGear.com. And remember, a better grip equals a better lift. Embrace the process.
And you too can embrace the process by going to Gaines, that's GAINZ, sportsgear.com, and entering the code LOVERS10 for 10% off your first purchase. And now, back to the show.
So, before we continue on our show, I want to wish a happy birthday to my Uncle Troy.
Happy birthday, Uncle Troy.
One of my favorite people in the world. My uncle's always
happy.
Yeah, always happy. He always got a rhyme in his heart.
Yes.
He always have 2 left feet.
Exactly.
He's going to dance and,
dances to his own beat.
Yeah, so I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. Also, before we kind of go into the other session, as I stated earlier, we are celebrating 16 years dating.
Mm-hmm. 04.
And I just wanted to know, what have you learned in 16 years of dating TJ?
I've learned how to be patient. I've learned how to hold my own a little bit more in the battles that I decide to pick and choose to go up against you with. I've learned to love a bit more freely and a little harder, because you do that as well. Like, you're not always the big bad wolf of 122nd Street, but you're also kind of, lovey-dovey, and you love unapologetically, and you love loudly, and I've learned that from you. And somebody's sleepy.
Always.
And I think those are a few things that I've learned from you since then. What have you learned from me in 16 years of dating?
What have I learned from dating, gal? I've learned not to be, or try not to be, an asshole as much. Dani has the patience of Job, Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay. And, she's taught me to, try to be more patient, not be as quick of a quick draw McGraw that I'm used to being. Yeah, I think those are the major things. Just try to be nicer. Again, Danny is, like I said in my posts, everyone needs a Danny in their life. I'll say lives. And I lucked out with getting her, and yeah. So.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you shared those kind, sweet words, and that they're on wax, so I can run this back and listen to them.
Yeah, even when I dislike you, you can play it, so that way you can know how I truly feel.
Yeah, well, I know when you dislike me in the moment.
Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate you for allowing me to be myself. That's what I've learned also. Danny's probably the only Danny and my mother are the only people who allow me to be me. No matter how trash I'm being, they still love me regardless. So I'm super thankful for that, and that has kind of taught me to kind of try to work on myself, because while they love me now, doesn't mean that doesn't mean that I can't burn my bridge. So
I appreciate that, and I also feel the same way that I'm easier to deal with than you are, but I'm not a complete walk in the park all the time either. So
I'm glad you said that on tape.
Okay. First of all, I'm still way easier than
It's different because your lens is based off of us dating, so that's different.
What do you mean?
Because all my friends know that I'm easy.
Easy what?
I'm easy in life. I usually just know how to push my buttons.
I don't try to push your buttons. That's the thing. And
you may not try to, but it can happen inadvertently. I also think the difference is when you're dating somebody or you're with somebody all the time, it's easier to be annoyed by things or take things out of context. So
I 100% agree, which is why I always feel like your argument about, well, how come you don't act like this with your friends or your sister or your mother or all these other people?
I never say your mother, but go
okay,
ahead.
So with your
sister, definitely.
But my point is that
friends, definitely.
Nobody else pushes my buttons the way you do.
That's fair.
And
you got it, queen.
Do any of your friends push your buttons the way?
All the time.
So your friends push your buttons, I'm about to say. So, I think that's always why I feel like that argument doesn't hold weight.
I guess.
Because the romantic relationship and the person that you're married to and that you lay with every night is going to get the level of smoke that no one else in your life is going to get. That
is true, but I also feel like because they are your significant other, you people tend to take advantage of it. Like they're always going to be there. So,
I think some people do, but
I cannot put in the effort I have to because that person is already there. So I don't have to go as hard. But for a friendship not really for siblings, it's different. But
yeah, but I guess I also think though that there's maybe also a level of understanding that should also be there. Now it doesn't. You do need to be reminded. You do need to do the work. You do need to put in effort. Don't get me wrong, but it's also too there's just an intimate. I don't think there's really any greater level of intimacy than between partners, and because there's the relationship and romantic and just the relational side of it, but then also too if you're building a life with somebody, then it's the business of being married, the business of being in a relationship, of homeowners and or renting and bills and insurance, and then you throw kids in. And then it's also, there's a lot of transactional things that happen. And then sometimes you're applying business minded or maybe even professional qualities or capabilities to a personal relationship and vice versa. Which is why I think sometimes it becomes more difficult for you to, and not you, just you, but like people collectively in a relationship to like differentiate, like, okay, I'm talking to this person from the personal lens, or I'm, or like prefacing himself, like I'm talking to you through this like
I don't think you
professional
can preface
lens.
yourself because it's commingled.
It is hard, and it's hard not to get your feelings caught up.
No, definitely. I mean, sometimes you do just have to take a step back, and you have to just be like, oh, let me take a step back. Like, I agree. You have to separate sometimes, and that's hard to do because again, it's like we're married, but we're friends, and we're parents together.
Podcasters.
We're podcasting together. Like we have so many hats, and that can all be intertwined with each other. So, yeah.
Let me ask you this, since we're on the anniversary tip, right? What is what's like something about me that you've enjoyed seeing change or grow over the last 16 years?
That you have a backbone. Why is that funny?
And because it's a compliment, but I think it was like, I don't know, maybe like the word choice could be like, because it also makes you feel, it sometimes could sound like, well, you were spineless when you were younger and now you have a backbone.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that in the sense of to see how you've grown. Like you're still Danny, but you're tougher, right? And you know how to stand up for yourself. Not saying that you didn't before, but when you're growing up, you have a lot of different factors that play into how you react. And I think that for you it was like, I can't come at my friends this way, or I can't come at people this way because then they're going to look at me a different way. And I think you've shed that. Like I think you understand, like you can still defend yourself and, you can be respectful, but if it has to get rah, you can still get there and still be respectful. And I'm saying like, to me, that's been exciting to watch because I know that you can handle yourself, from arguing with people or if you talking your shit, like to see that you're able to like handle yourself regardless, it's like comforting.
So you feel like, is it because you don't have to feel like you have to like swoop in and like,
I don't feel like I have to fight your battles for you or I have to be there or I have to worry that you're not gonna be able to stand up against me because you're afraid of whatever or against anybody, right? And to me that's dope. It's like, yeah.
So for me, I think that one of my favorite evolutions of yours has been watching you sort of like be more, I'm not gonna say, it's not, mindful is not the word I want to use. I think like being more like considerate. I think you were never like you're way more attention. You have a way stronger attention to detail than I do when it comes to certain things, but I think like you starting like over the last 16 years, watching you be able to articulate your feelings without it being like a pendulum swing one way or the other. Like you actually like have gotten a lot better at understanding and articulating that when there are shades of gray, when things are going on and it's not always black or white, and it's not always like either you're right and I'm wrong or I'm wrong and you're right. It's like, there's nuance to stuff. And I think like that's something I've grown to appreciate about you, is that you were a little bit more like cut and dry when we were younger. And then over the course of our relationship, you've started to grow and understand that like everything isn't like that. And, and then, although there are times that there are, but that you really like have a better, like more nuanced understanding of how things work. And I appreciate that too, because I know that like these are things that like that was a strength of mine, or that's an area of mine where I never had an issue with that. Sometimes I am too nuanced about things, and same way how like being argumentative and holding your own in argument was something you always were easy. It was always came easy to you. So the fact that like we are kind of like learning from each other, or we're adjusting for each other or like to whatever extent. Like I think that that's dope, you know?
Agreed. I can see that.
I have another question.
I do too, but go ahead.
You go. I asked the first one, so you go ask the next
I
one.
asked the first one, and then you would just ask the question. So go ahead. You can go again.
Okay.
I'll go.
Yeah, it was like every
roll
other.
Your eyes and also.
I'm not like rolling my eyes like
you did
that.
roll your eyes.
Oh my gosh,
bro.
Oh my gosh.
Buckethead.
Okay.
Best moment, worst moment. Boom. I have my best moments and worst moments. So. In our dating relationship.
So not Tatum being born, like because
I mean you can include that because I mean even though we're married, I'm still dating you.
Yeah.
Like I can break up with you in our relationship.
We're not divorced.
And still be married to you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's just the way my brain is going right now.
Best and worst moments in our entire 16 years. So anything's fair game.
Anything's fair game.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna take Tatum joining the equation out of the joining our family out of the equation.
That would be the best moment.
It's definitely like up there, right? Like
Okay.
she's the physical manifestation of our love. But outside of that, I would say
I don't want to. Sorry. So when I say worst, it doesn't have to be like the most terrible thing. So I have a worst moment for something that happened with us, gift wise.
okay.
But go ahead.
All right. I don't know. Like, okay, best moment I would say is I mean, there's so many great moments. I mean, I'm trying to think of like dating and not just like marriage and baby. That's why I'm like trying to like.
So let me.
You go first, and then I'll help guide.
Our worst dating moment for me was when you got me that PlayStation 2.
I hated you so much after that.
And I was not appreciative of it.
Yeah, you were an asshole.
I wasn't an asshole. I was very straightforward, like my mother, but I hated it because of how it made you feel. And that wasn't my intention. I thought I was just being honest and it'd be like, whatever. But, knowing that you saved your money up and you thought you were doing something. Honestly, that's the precursor to my indecisiveness. But
that's why I don't like buying you shit.
That's why I buy my shit anyway. So that would probably be my worst. My best moment, like you said, we've had a lot of moments. I would probably say our first trip together, like our first flight when we went to Orlando. That was like a really fun time.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to say my best one is also another trip. So Orlando was cool, but I think we still argued on the trip at one point.
I mean, when don't we argue?
It's because when are you not a moody Mary? So
it's my fault. That's what you're saying.
I distinctly remember you.
I don't remember.
You walked away from me in Harry Potter Land because you were mad because I wasn't walking fast enough because my foot hurt. And so, but. I don't
remember that, but go ahead.
On the flip, best moment, one of the ones, or maybe like if we think about trip wise too, I enjoyed when we did our trip to Vegas. We were engaged, and we went to Vegas, and we did the construction equipment thing.
Okay, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Well, the reason why I said Orlando because that was our first trip
anywhere together. That was like on a flight.
That was our first flight. I think our
ourselves.
first trip was Atlantic City.
Oh yeah, but it was like family.
No. Remember when it was like my birthday weekend? My mother used a timeshare and we went to Atlantic City in like March, but it was like freezing.
I vaguely remember that.
We took the bus there.
Yes, I remember the bus trip.
Yeah.
Now I remember the bus trip.
So I'm saying Orlando was our first. I remember that because we flew to Orlando. I bought the new Palm. Remember? You probably don't remember. So
with the trio thing, your phone?
But it was like the sliding touchscreen one, but. I remember the phone came out that weekend and we were in Orlando. You were taking a nap. I left. I went
You
to go
did.
get.
You went and got the phone in Florida.
I did.
So you
We went to the gun range.
Yes,
I
went
to the
deaf.
all you can eat.
Lobster buffet,
the lobster buffet.
you were putting the lobsters in my face.
Yeah.
And I was so fucking disgusted because I don't like lobster. And
See? So I remember like those. I mean, Vegas was dope too. I remember that when we did the dig this and
not say you gotta enunciate dig this because something you said dick this.
I said dig this. Dig this. Golly.
So I don't know if they still do it, but and again Corona, but at whatever point if you can, it was so much fun because it was obviously off the strip, but you literally could you paid and you got to drive around like construction equipment. So me and TJ were like racing with in fucking tractors and bulldozers and stuff like that, and we were flipping like those big old 18-wheeler tires and stuff. So it was just a lot of fun. Worst moment dating wise, if I think about us being young, shit, does it count the first Christmas? Does that not count?
I mean, you can count it. I mean,
You gave me that bullshit watch?
if that's the case, that was like 17 years. That was in 03.
Okay, well then, and this,
I mean, you can get it though. The watch wasn't. The presentation was bullshit.
the presentation was utter bullshit. It was garbage.
And I've made up for it.
You have.
All right then.
But you have made up for it as far as the quality of your gifts, but your presentation sometimes is still lacking because you'll hand people stuff and you'll be like, here.
I don't got time for all
You don't
that.
rap shit.
I don't.
You don't say the cake made me cry because that was the most that was the best presentation of all the gifts you gave me for my birthday this year. Everything else you were like, oh, this came in the mail here. And Father's Day, I had it all laid out on the bed, and I had Tatum bring you upstairs, and you had the card and stuff. So presentation does matter.
To some people, I'm very simple. I don't.
So I can just start tossing boxes at you and be like, here, like you did to
If
me.
that's what you wanted to do. But I can take the constructive criticism and I can make sure that I will put more effort into that. I've never really been good at it, so.
Okay. So my question: what is or was one of your favorite memories of us, one of our regular things that we did when we were still young and dating, living at home and.
Say that one more time.
So what is one of your fondest memories of us, just from that time when we were still high school, early college and dating?
I would say probably meeting up after school
Mm-hmm.
and going to the pizza store.
That was what I was gonna say.
And
Is that police?
yeah, see, I mean you remember all that stuff, but yeah, that was. I mean, that was just the innocent times, and we would do it, eat, and then do it that's when we was in love, like rabbits. That's when you know you ain't have no time.
You had nothing but time.
Yeah, sorry. So. I'd probably say that. And then when we were in college, kind of those summers off, running
the
summer,
streets.
winters, yeah. So.
Yeah, I would say I definitely high school was definitely we would go get a slice or we would get Chinese food or we would get the little, I guess it was called Zeppelis, right? Whatever.
Yes.
And we would watch movies or watch The Simpsons, or I'd watch you play video games, or I'd take a nap and you play video games. And we just were hanging out and shooting the shit and didn't really have a care in the world except for homework. And that was always a lot of fun. And then as far as college, I think I really liked when we would so I'll say this, I really like being at social events with TJ. That was one of the few things we all have friends who didn't want to necessarily be at the same party with their girl or with their boyfriend, but TJ never, I mean, unless you think otherwise, but I feel you and I never had a problem being at parties together, because we would be with our friends and our respective circles, and we would hang out together, but then we would also go do our own thing. And I had a lot of fun partying with you and thinking about the concerts and stuff that we went to between Coppin and Morgan and Towson. Like we went to go see Lil Wayne and we saw T-Pain and and mind y'all, this is like 05 to 09, so this is like peak.
Yeah, we seen
peak
Lil Wayne, yeah.
Peak T-Pain.
Yeah.
This was like Trey Songz.
Yeah.
So like
the Trey Songz, yeah.
That was, I just had a lot of fun with that too.
So would you see our high school time was so short? And our college time was 4 years.
Well, 5
for TJ.
Yeah.
And then I'm just trying. And then we have our adult years. Which time was? And that's unfair because for me, like having Tatum, like that's when my life like really started. But all right, so prior to Tatum, prior to getting married, let's just say that. Which era was your, I guess, funnest?
Prior to Tatum?
Prior to Tatum.
What was our most fun era?
For you. Mine was like our college. Like when me, you, and Eric lived together.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Was like my
peak.
Highlight. Yeah.
That was like, we had a fucking ball in college.
Megan moved in. You remember when we snuck into the pool?
Yes, and I got stuck at the top of the fence.
Yeah.
Because
you're not athletic at all, but.
Whatever. And I cut my thigh.
You're just not athletic. That's how, I mean, listen, when you're from Queens and you live in a big house,
see, and
you don't do any hood rat things.
Oh, so you're saying people from Harlem are hood rats? Okay,
no,
we can go.
I'm just saying when
your words, not mine.
I'm just saying when you don't live in a big house with a driveway and
I did not grow up in a big house.
In comparison, like I grew up in an apartment before we moved there, but like when I lived, let me tell you, when we lived in the towers, we used to like do the express on the elevator. So when you go on the elevator, right, there was a way that you can make like the front door close, but the inside be open. And then if you put your hand up, it just skips all the floors. So we used to do that, right? And then we'll like stop it in between the floor and then jump out.
That was dumb.
But that's what people did.
That's like people who like subway surf.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but it wasn't as. Honestly, now that I think about it, it was like very dangerous.
You sound like you could have lost all types of arms and legs.
Well, I don't know if you would have lost arms and legs, but technically you could have. Now that I'm thinking about it, like it was fun doing it, and it was like the peer pressure, you do it, and it was like technically you could have jumped and then fell down the shaft, all that. But it was just something that everybody was doing, and you know what I mean? But yeah.
I would have never done it. There was a story. I don't know if it was at my mom's or one of the buildings my mom used to work at or my dad used to work at, and like somebody like was holding the elevator for someone and got decapitated. It was like all in New York, all in the papers and stuff, and like the head fell into the elevator and then the body was still in the lobby.
Yeah.
And so like people were on the.
Well, listen, I have the man upstairs and he made sure that I made it. So
this is true. Let me see.
But I was saying that to say, like we used to. Like they used to like, I would say we, but I never really did it. Like we used to do manhunt around the block, like Booker T and stuff like that. But they used to do like manhunt, like the older kids, they would do manhunt like in the subway, like hop on the subway, go somewhere, and they're playing manhunt in the city of New York. Yo, living in New York was so lit, but it was also like
mad dangerous,
very dangerous, and it was very weird times, right? And I think that's why the dude Ray Ray. I like hearing his stories because some of the shit I can relate to, some of the shit I couldn't, right?
Yeah.
Like my parents is way too scary, so like I may have went to one skate key party.
I went to one skate key party too.
My parents weren't really for that, you know what I mean? But like when they was talking about like different fashion and shit like that, wearing pals, my parents weren't getting me pals. But I wasn't even into that stuff, so I wouldn't have asked for it. I remember Anthony had an Avrex when Avrex was like big.
I remember
they tried to rob him. But Anthony was like, I'm not giving you my jacket, which is stupid. But, I mean, they didn't, like, hurt him or nothing. But, you know, I'm just saying. So, for me, I think that, like I said earlier, the nostalgic of just seeing that stuff. I remember, like, the summers, we used to, like, go from 110th to, like, 42nd Street. I remember one summer, me, George, Will, and Brandon started on 110th. And we, like, I feel like George had a fucking scooter. Don't ask me why, but he had a scooter and we went from 110th to like 60 something street. We walked there and then we hopped on the train to go to 40 Deuce. Like it was just so much shit that you could get into and do, you know. And then another thing, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, sorry y'all, I'm going down memory lane, and then
I know this episode is titled Nostalgia.
I really feel like I missed partying in New York because I was here.
Yeah, it was a different experience.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was. I mean, obviously that was meant to happen that way because I don't know if I would be the same person I am today if I was going to New York super heavy and everything else. Like, I don't know if I would have. But even then, like I said, my mother wasn't, like, my parents weren't really into, like, me hanging out just to hang out or hanging out on blocks. And, you know, in New York, there was a time where everyone had their cliques and I wanted to be down. My mother was just like, no, you can't be a part of no cliques and none of that. Like, both of them. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just different things that just triggered, but it made me remember and shit like that. So, yeah. But yeah, growing up in New York was fire.
It was, and I mean, I totally understand that, but and you know, it's like on one hand we kind of miss some of it because we are like real like running around years, and we were like over 18, 21, like we were down
around here.
We was running around, but it was still great. It was just different.
No. I'm not taking that. I'm not taking it away. But it's kind of like I do have the what if moments. Like, you know what I mean? Like when me and Rock be talking about like BB Kings and how they had it going up and shit like that. I never went. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, I also contribute that to like your friends and the people that you hang with, because no one I was really hanging with was doing that. Like, Will wasn't hanging out like that. Christian. I think Christian had left by that time. Yeah. So it's just, you know what I mean? So I was kind of forced to like hang out in Baltimore more, and especially once I got like my own apartment. So that really changed everything. But not taking anything away from my experiences. So
absolutely. In the spirit of trips down memory lane, what was a moment when we were dating, or was there a moment when we were dating when you were like, oh, she gotta stick around. I gotta get her to stick around.
When you cleaned my room.
Oh, still that one? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was like my, that you were a keeper. I mean, I think that my family liking you was that as well. And we just meshed, you know. I mean, God really laid down the foundation and made it easy for me. I'm gonna just say it was kind of like it was a no-brainer. So, you weren't difficult. You didn't really taught me or make me not be TJ. Like, I was able to be myself, and for the most part, I was able to be myself and not have to worry about like I can't joke like this or I can't talk to a woman this way because my wife or my girlfriend at the time was going to be jealous. Like, you weren't jealous, I wasn't jealous. It just worked out for me. You know what I mean? Like, it was very simple just to kind of live my life and not have to worry. So, and for you, what was your moment? Besides when oh
my gosh, I think for me it was I think you were like, it was somebody's, I don't know if it was your graduation. No. Were we engaged by the time you graduated?
By the time I graduated from
Towson?
Yeah. I graduated in 2011. I proposed to you in 2010.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so.
You don't even know when I proposed to you.
I do know you proposed to me, duh.
What date?
April 20th. It was 10 days after you crossed.
Anyway, go ahead.
Nigga.
You almost forgot it.
I didn't forget it. I was just trying to like, but it was something maybe.
I get it. You're so old that you don't remember that far back. I got it.
Oh my God. See, this is where you lose me.
Does that happen when you turn a year older?
Anyway.
Well, go ahead.
We were at your parents' house and you were giving some like speech or whatever, and I don't know, you were just like, you included me in your speech as far as like being integral or pivotal to your success or to the milestone that you would achieve. I don't even know if it was like maybe it wasn't your birthday if we were in the backyard, but it was something over the summer, and you were just really, really like very public and very like serious, and you had a lot of conviction. That's what it was. You had a lot of conviction in what you said about how you felt about me. And I was just sitting there, and I guess I kind of felt like a shift in me, like, oh, I'm like, yo, he really like fucks with me. Like, he really wants, like, because, you know, TJ always was like, I'm marry you, you're it, we're getting married. Like, it was like very matter of fact for him. And I was always kind of like, yeah, okay, sure. But looking back, like, that was the moment where I like actually heard him like articulate in like a thoughtful manner how important I was to him. And that's when it like made me realize, like, oh, I'm like, we are not just kind of like biding our time here. We are really like doing something and going the distance. So yeah. Do you have any maybe like one or two more questions before I think we should stay on this wavelength, but then, you know, as we maybe start to wrap up, do you have any other questions about where we are and how far we've come?
Not necessarily. Not really.
I'm trying to think if I do have one more.
Go ahead.
Okay. And it spans all 16 years. Funniest moment, like, and it could be where you laughed with me or you laughed at me.
You peed on yourself.
Okay. So for me, is when you scream like a bitch after we argued and you thought a ghost touched you.
It definitely touched me. There's definitely a ghost that warned me.
Yeah. TJ was trying to make this mad, fucking dramatic exit.
It wasn't dramatic.
It wasn't. You grabbed the blanket.
I did grab my blanket.
Yeah,
because I was getting the fuck out of there.
You sound like a fucking toddler. Like, I'm taking my blankie and I'm going home.
Whatever.
And you went, yo, I don't think TJ fucking hit the top step.
It wasn't the top step. I was walking past the bed. I was walking past Tatum's room, and something touched me, and I was like, "Oh, nah."
It was the tag from the blanket.
I don't know. Nah, it wasn't. Yo, I'm telling you, it was something that was warning me. That was like, "Yo, if you go downstairs, it's over for you."
Yeah. TJ, I was sitting in the bed, and he was mad, and we argued, and he walks out with his fucking comforter, and then like 10 seconds later, it
wasn't like that. Come on.
No, what was it like?
It wasn't like that. It was like, oh shit!
No, it was way high pitched.
Like, ah!
No,
it was something like that. Whatever. Anyway,
it was like, ah!
Whatever it was. That listen, my mother always say, you listen to that gut feeling, and that gut feeling told me if you go downstairs, you may not come back up. So I went back in the room, and then he was like, "What's wrong?" And I told her what happened. She laughed at me, and then argument.
I still can't tell you what we were arguing about because it was so funny.
I mean, it was probably something that you did wrong. So
now everybody listening, including
but anyway,
me, no, that's bullshit. Well, yeah, happy anniversary.
Happy 16 years. 16 goddamn years.
So now that you're 32, yeah, you've known me half your life.
Mm-hmm. But we've dated half my life.
You dated half my. Dated half.
Because we don't really count.
03.
03.
Not
really. I don't remember when. Yeah, because that's when you was being a slide for real.
Yeah, first of all, nigga, watch your mouth.
I mean,
I would smack the shit out of you.
You a little thought. You a little thought box.
I wasn't being a thought box. I was nothing of the sort.
She's probably gonna be like, watch your mouth.
Exactly.
All that other stuff.
My sister said she got one good fight left, and she gonna beat your ass.
Yeah, okay.
Listen.
Anyway, you was being a little thought box.
I wasn't being a little thought box.
You was. Even when first off, let's talk about that. On the 27th of 2004, you try to make me your friends with benefit, pretty much. You had thought tendencies.
I didn't have.
I saved you.
I was.
I saved. If I was smart,
I was weighing my options.
I would have allowed you to just be in the thought box. So I was like, nah. I see the potential in this thoughty box.
I was not a thought box. I was weighing my options, and also too, you were like, I needed to have a little bit more conviction from you, and you were, doing what you do best, and
which is what.
And just kind of like being indecisive. Like,
I wasn't being indecisive. I told you I wanted you to be my girl, and you was like, "Well, we can just be friends with benefits." I don't know if you said friends with benefits, but you alluded to the fact that it was like whatever. And I was like, "All right, cool for the moment." But you know me, like when I'm sure, I'm sure. So I'm like, "Nah." I called that back. I'm like, "Listen, are you gonna be my girl? You're not gonna be my girl."
And then I said, "Okay."
Exactly.
And then here we are.
I saved you from the streets. You're welcome.
You didn't save me.
This episode should be "You're welcome."
No. Your name is not fucking Maui. This ain't Moana.
You're welcome.
No.
I saved you.
No. I saved you, nigga.
I took you from the slums of Queens.
See? And this is why...
The slums of Hollis.
Words mean things. This is why word choice matters. Fucking... I saved you from the dirt.
That didn't hurt my feelings.
Okay. And so, I just feel like we are far from perfect. And we still have a long way to go as far as growth and development as a couple. But
100%.
we are... You like definitely one of each other's best friends, and we've been through so much together, and it's been like it's definitely been way more fun than it's been fuck ups and heartaches and stuff like that. But I wouldn't do this with anybody else.
Agreed.
Yeah, because I make you better.
You what?
I make you better.
We make each other better.
Yes, but I am your better half, or your better whole, whatever you want to call it.
Better whole.
Like. Because, like, we're not
50-50.
We're not whole. We're not halves. We don't complete each other. We're our own persons, but we complement each other.
You lost me.
Oh,
math was never your strong suit. 2 halves equal 1. Like, we bring this half and this half together equals...
I'm aware of that.
Okay. So, you get half of TJ, half of Dani equals...
What I'm trying to say is, no, one whole Danny and one whole TJ make the Byersons. So we're two, because we are our own people.
I get that.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Word choice and semantics and spelling and grammar and syntax are not your strong suit.
It's not. And math isn't yours either. But you know what? I'm not here for that.
But I bet you I had better math grades than you.
Where did you graduate from?
Frederick Douglass Academy.
No, I'm talking college.
Towson.
Where did I graduate from?
Towson.
All right then. So
where did you get into?
I got into Coppin, but then I got into Towson.
Okay.
Just because I had to take the longer road don't mean anything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We didn't all grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth.
Silver spoon, my nigga?
You had a driveway with a garage that y'all didn't use, but y'all had a garage.
You lived...
You had a motherfucking...
in a brownstone in Harlem.
At 14, 15, around that time.
And you grew up on the Upper West Side.
I grew up in Harlem. The beginning of Harlem.
Okay, exactly. 110th Street is... You were tap dancing on the line of white people.
All right, whatever. First off...
Hollis is no white people. So
no, I'm not saying that, but 110th Street, where I'm from, growing up, that wasn't like where it is now. Yes, it's like white people prime. But growing up, it wasn't like the safest neighborhood or anything like that. We had mad gangs, the Yellow Top Crew, all that. Like
who?
The Yellow Top Crew.
I never heard of them.
You gotta look it up. It was a gang called Yellow Top Crew because their drug vials.
Yellow tops.
Yep.
I gathered that much.
So when I worked at the district attorney's office, they showed us.
They was like, get that nigga.
No, they showed us like one of their cases. It was about the Yellow Top Crew, but I never put 2 and 2 together. But like as I'm watching like the slideshow and they're talking about it, like I'm seeing the mural that used to be on 108th or 107th. That's not there no more. But I'm seeing stuff and I'm like, that looks very familiar. And it was about the Yellow Top Crew. And that's how I found out more information about it. But yeah, like it wasn't... And in our courtyard, there used to be like crack vials. I remember me and Will was playing with like the crack vials. And my mother was like, don't you ever touch that. But
Stoop dupes.
Well, we didn't know what it was. I mean, technically, the crack vials is really fish. Is where people keep the fish. What's the name? Fish bait. Mm-hmm. But they use it for drugs. But yeah, so... Mm-hmm. Anyway... That's neither here or there. Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is that we both graduated from Towson University. So you can have the better grades, but where you graduated from, I graduated from. Don't you forget it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could say something else, but I'm not.
No, go ahead. We've been together for 16 years.
It's something that I'm leaving. I vowed not to bring that up anymore. So.
Bring what up?
I vowed not to use this as a leverage against you.
Nope.
When it comes to
you already brought it up.
Your education.
You already brought it up. What?
As far as
because you helped me with my work. Is that what you're gonna go at?
Yeah.
I mean, listen. I was smart enough to know that you was gonna do it for me. So why not?
So, did you really?
My bachelor's degree. Danielle helped me tremendously. The bachelor's degree can say Danielle Byers, and I'll put it on wax so that way you can feel vindicated.
I don't feel vindicated. I'm just saying.
My dual masters, all TJ. I'll take that.
My masters too, all Dani.
Yeah. Took you a couple of tries, but yeah.
Wow, it took me a couple of tries. It's up to a 5-year program. I finished in 3.
Did I fail any classes for my master's?
No.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do that though. And where did you get your master's from?
That was a good one. You got it. I don't want no problems.
Where did I get my master's from?
You got it from the Johns Hopkins University.
Is it S.M. Johns?
Johns Hopkins, whatever. I don't care.
Okay then. So
you got it.
With that being said,
yes, you have a more prestigious, and I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you too. Real talk. There's all jokes over here because ultimately we are still both successful and happy and healthy.
That is true.
Well, folks, thanks for taking this trip down memory lane with us because I didn't expect the episode to go this way, but I'm glad it did. It was nice kind of revisiting all the young, dumb shit and fun shit that we did. And make sure that you tune in with us so that way you can see behind the scenes stuff from my birthday coming up soon and any other little snippets of our lives that we have going on. And you can find all of that by following us on Instagram at Lovers Quarrel Show, or on Twitter at Lovers Quarrel 7, or if you have any questions, concerns, feedbacks, you want to know more about us, email us at loversquarrelshow@gmail.com. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, share, tag, follow, all the above on all of our platforms. We're even on YouTube, so just look up Danny and TJ Lovers Quarrel, and we are there. Thank you all for listening and riding with us, and we hope that you enjoy this episode and us talking our shit. As always, you know that I am your girl Danny,
and I'm your guy TJ,
and you know that we fuss,
we fight, but we love. Bye. You really try to come at me.
You came first, and I love you too.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.